What's up, guys? It's about a week and a half late, but I finally do have a show slash meet recap video for you guys to explain how my week of USA's went, the outcome, which I did earn my pro card in the super heavyweight division, and talk about my plans moving forward. So as you can see by the circles in my eyes, I'm pretty tired. It has been a hell of a week, starting with the show. But then our original plan, Taylor and I, go immediately into powerlifting meet prep and fly out to Portland to train with Kabuki Strength. As maybe karma might have it, my original flight got canceled. My Airbnb was double booked. My rental car reservation was canceled. And I ended up getting a minor quad strain all in the span of this past week. So the quad strain's nothing big. It probably will nix my chances at an American record at the meet, but other than that, I'm still in one piece and getting back into normal training. So I wanted to spend most of this video talking about the experience that I had at USA's, starting when we landed in Phoenix. Pretty typical peak week routine. I'm not going to share the intricacies of my diet or water manipulation protocols or any of that because my coach Shelby Starnes did all of it. That's his information to share if he so chooses. I'm not going to do that, but what I will talk about is from the point we got there, what it was like for me. So the big thing was how much posing I did that week. Probably, and I thought I was posing a lot. I was practicing 3 rounds a day for the 8 or 10 weeks leading up to the show. And I honestly, that week, peak week, I probably did more posing than I had the previous 8 weeks all put together. So it was after every meal, going through several rounds, trying to make things perfect. Man, I can't tell you enough how grateful I am for everybody that helped me. So, Taylor obviously has been with me through all this travel stuff. Adam Bremer, who's the head coach of MI40, he came from Tampa with us to stay in Phoenix to help me out. Jared Feather drove over from Vegas. He showed up at 8 p.m. the night before the show for some last minute help. Joe Sullivan and Brianna Taylor came to help. It was all, I'm really, really grateful for their support. So I had a great environment around me and, couldn't make any excuses for lack of a performance. So I'm glad that the outcome was what it was. We did a few depletion workouts, got to see a few different gyms around the area. Probably my favorite was Muscle Factory, and but no lower body training. I did mess around with sumo a little bit just for fun. And my workouts were pretty short. They were about 45 minutes throughout the course of the week and only one per day. And I stopped those. I didn't train on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So, pretty standard, peak weeks type stuff. The interesting thing to me was that in my past few show preps with John Meadows and with Justin Harris, as I got closer and closer to the show, I started looking worse and worse and worse, just flatter and smaller, and honestly, maybe even a little bit softer. And with Shelby, it was crazy. Literally from the first check-in when we landed at Phoenix until the last check-in before I went on stage for finals on Saturday night, just every single meal looking better and better and better. It was so crazy to me. That was probably the coolest experience I've had in bodybuilding, was just seeing those changes literally meal to meal. It was so cool. Shelby's really absolutely brilliant at what he does. So the show itself, I'm not gonna lie, I still didn't love the experience. You can see I'm still mottled with my spray tan. It's lasted quite a while at this point. Had to get 3 coats of it because it was a 2-day show. So I think starting at 5 a.m. on Friday morning, day of prejudging, I have to show up for my second coat of tanning. So I do that. That takes to about 6. Go back home, eat my second meal, do some more posing, head over to the venue because you're supposed to be there for rules meeting 8. And it turns out there's so many competitors at the show, I don't end up getting on stage until almost noon. So fortunately, Shelby had told me, bring these foods for these times, XYZ. He was checking in with me, being like, okay, we're going to eat this now. So I had no issues with that, but it was a little bit of a difficult thing from a mental perspective, because I think the best analogy I can come up with is that a bodybuilding show feels a lot like waiting for your opening squat if you've done a powerlifting meet. and you know that's all. It's kind of, you got something exciting because you want to get on the platform, and you want to make sure that you got, you know, at least one win under your belt, and then you can have some fun the rest of the day. So bodybuilding is just like, it's all leading up to that opening squat, and that's all you got. So I spent most of the time meditating, honestly. I probably meditated over the time I was at the venue, probably 4 or 6 hours over the course of the weekend. You know, just trying to zone out, and not zone out, but you know, just calm down. So finally get up on stage, and oh, I also want to mention everybody backstage, super, super cool. It was really, really awesome for me to meet some of the guys that, you know, I had seen throughout the years. Gary Turner specifically, man. So Gary, if you don't follow him, The Real G6 on IG, man, he posts a lot of motivational stuff. And I'll be honest, at first I thought, you know, he was just doing it for, you know, some guys post motivational stuff for attention. Man, Gary is all about the sport. He's the nicest guy. He's really, really a great ambassador for everything. It was an honor to meet him. The other guys that I got to meet were also really, really cool. And so that was probably the highlight of the experience. When we got on stage, you know, Taylor had warned me. There were only 7 heavyweights, I think, 6 or 7. Taylor had warned me, hey, look, there's only going to be one call out. They're probably going to push you guys pretty hard when it comes to posing. I was like, look, man, I'm not going to give up when I get on stage. It's been 10 weeks of prep. I'm not going to quit then. But I didn't expect to be on stage for 3 rounds of posing. So by the end, I was hurting, but they didn't end up. We went through a full round, and I started on the outside. And, you know, obviously there's some disappointment when you're not in the center from the start. If you guys don't know, generally the person who finishes in the center of the call-outs wins. So I started on the outside, and we went through a full round, and I was still on the outside, and I was like, well, you know, not my show once again. But then they do move me a little bit closer to center, go through another full round. I'm like, well, you know, at least I moved up a little bit, at least made some progress. We go through a third round, and they do finally move me to center. And I'm psyched up at this point because I know they can't keep us up there for that much longer. And for me, I'm going to post another video about this later in the week, but for me, the hardest part about posing is breath control. That's what makes my waist appear a lot wider, is that I'm used to breathing and bracing for powerlifting, not for bodybuilding. So I was doing my best to control my breath and take very shallow breaths in high up in the chest. And when we got off stage, I was so amped up, I took in a big gulp of air and started hyperventilating. So everybody there was really nice to me. They had the medics come just make sure I was okay. I was really just being stupid, out of breath. I knew that, you know, 2 minutes later, I was like, God damn it, I'm just being an idiot. But everything was totally fine. And so then the next, Shelby did have me have a burger and fries after the show, but then right after prejudging. But then the rest of the meals and fluids between then and the Saturday night show, which was at 8 p.m. So we got off stage around noon, 12:30 on Friday. Between then and Saturday at 8 p.m., it was a tough diet. But again, getting better each and every meal was really, really cool to see. So again, finals going, very, very long night. I don't end up winning the overall, and I won't lie, I was slightly bummed about that because I did think I had a shot, but at the same time, just so overwhelmed about winning the pro card that it was really hard to be bummed about anything. The guy who did win the show, man, Jordan Hutchinson, he had been dieting since December. He looked incredible, awesome guy, his first national show. Really excited to watch him in the future. And I don't know the name of I believe he was a light heavyweight, but he looked fantastic as well. So all in all, you know, I can't say it was the most fun experience on stage, but it was extremely, extremely rewarding to finally win something that I've been, you know, after for 2 or 3 years. And honestly, from that perspective, it might have been the most rewarding, like internally, of my athletic career, if you want to call it that. Moving forward, going to try and continue to do both powerlifting and bodybuilding. So this powerlifting meet in 5 weeks is going to be a trip with this quad strain, but I think I'll be just fine. And then I'm looking to probably make a pro debut for bodybuilding towards the end of next year. And I'm not going to lie, I don't have any aspirations as a pro, at least not right yet. But I'm going to try and do the most challenging show I can find so I can get on stage next to some Olympians, because it would be really, really cool for me just to be on stage with somebody like Rolly or Ian Valier or, you know, Hunter Labrada, any of those guys. It would be really, really awesome for me. So I am super excited about the future. The most thing I'm most excited about is now I really feel like I have the freedom to focus more on coaching, more on trying to help other people as best I can, because I do think at this point I've established, as much of a legacy as I care to. I'm the only person to ever win a IFBB pro card from the open division. So Stan Efferding did his as a masters, and also have a powerlifting all-time world record total. So there were some other guys that had one lift records, or put up big gym numbers, but I'm the only one to have those two. And for me, coming from my sport history background, that's really special to me. I know it's not, maybe the most important or most exciting thing or most impressive thing to ever be accomplished in powerlifting and bodybuilding, but it is really, really meaningful for me, and I think it's really cool. So we'll see what comes next. I'm not going to stop pushing, but I am going to enjoy the process a lot more, I think, and I'm really grateful for your all support as well. If you have any questions about the weekend, post them below. Make sure to check out my write-up on Elitefts, and I will see you guys next time.